Hello and welcome. This coming weekend is the 8th and final stage of this year's Financial Modeling World Cup. Another Excel competition that, I'll be honest, I haven't featured a lot of videos on, but I do regularly participate in. I like this one because this one involves a lot of bit of finance skills along with the Excel skills you will normally see. And because the 8th stage is coming up soon, I want to practice. I want to get back warmed up. It's been a while, so I'm going to do that by running through the stage 7 cases as best as I can. Will I get through them all? Probably not, but I'm going to get us through as many as I can. I will upload them for you. You can watch and follow along with me. And if you're interested and you want to try this out, you can see what this competition is like. So this case is the first case. It's called Start Me Up. Allow me to read the background information for you. It's tax time, and you need to gather the payroll and option data for your startup company. Unfortunately, the payroll system, HR, and accounting have all left, and you only have the list of employees, their hire dates, term dates as needed, their annual salary, and the stock options given to them. You will need to figure out the payroll and options to record for the year-end totals. Now, with these first cases in the set of 3, it's usually an easier one. It's usually a quicker or shorter one. I'll go to this sheet where I keep all of my questions, and you'll see there's only 5 questions on this case. And so usually my target for this case is to try to get it solved within 10 minutes. On the Assumptions tab here, we have the information about stock options and all of the employee data that was mentioned in that case file. Now, you may see me alt-tabbing back and forth. I might go back and refer to this file because there's more information down here. I'm not going to read it out loud now, but I might have to come back to it as I'm trying to solve the case. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and see if I can get a complete solve within my target of 10 minutes. And here we go. All right, so let's see here. This is the information that we have. We have employee number, option, salary, hire date, and termed date. We have the vesting option period for options, no other information there. Let's see what the first question is. Question 1. How many employees worked during December 2025? And so for that, we need to see when they were hired, when they were termed. Okay, that's going to figure out how many days they worked each month. So let's do this. Let's do month. And I'm guessing that since we're starting at January 1st and going to December 19th, and this is an annual report for taxes, I'm going to go for a 12-month period. So sequence of 12 there. And let's see, what do I want to do? So I want to figure out how many days did this person work within a month. I think that's going to be helpful later, because if I go back to the information sheet, let's see. Salaries or annual employees are 1/12 for the months they work the entire month. If they work a partial month, they receive whatever percent of the days they work. So we need to figure out how many days they work in each month. So I'm going to put this in a let statement. So I want to find out their start date and I'm going to find out their end date. And the start date is going to be the latter of this hire date or the first of the month. So I'm going to do max. We'll do the hire date or the first of the month. So we are going to say date, and these are all 2025 January, and I'm going to make sure I lock that. I'm going to lock this as well in the E column, because when I fill down, when I fill across, that's how I want them to stay, and the day is going to be 1. So one of those days is going to be the day that they start. Let's do start date here, just so we can see the results. So here we got January 1st, here we should have January 15th, yes, and February 3rd. Okay, well, we'll figure that out when we get to it. All right, let's figure out the end dates now. So we're going to end date, and this is either going to be whichever comes first, the end of the month or the date that they were termed. But if they're not termed, then we're just going to assume that they're still working, right? So if this term date is blank, then we'll just put the end date at the end of the month. So we're going to date 2025 January, and then we don't have the end of the month there, or do we? All right, so we'll just do end of month, date 2025 January 1st, and 0 days. So that's going to give me the end of the month in January. It'll be January 31st, right? Then February, but it'll only be the 28th. So that's going to work. Right. So Yes, that's because I'm trying to go this way. All right. If it is not blank, then we're going to turn whichever comes first, either that end of the month or the date that they were termed. So min, I think this is the end of month date. I can still use that same number, right? That or the date that they were termed there. Right? And then let's just see how it comes out. So end date. Oh. That's very interesting. Oh, okay. I know why. Because that should be in day. Yeah, okay. Because it's running the date again, and that's definitely not what we want. I think it only needs to happen once there. Yes. So if I go down, right, and then this person, it changed. Very good, very good. All right, so, and what we were going to do is we're going to do days, end date, start date. You see how I did that? I used the same names. That was probably cheating, but oh well. So that's 30 days. I said there's 31 days in January, so we're going to add 1. Now, what happens when I get to this person? Ooh. How did you get 194 days in that 1 month? That's not right. Because, let's see here. Let me just check what your end date is. No. It should be this date. It should be this date. Oh, I do need to put day in here. Okay. Day in there. There we go. Right, so let's go ahead and put that back up here, and let's put that formula back in for the number of days of the month. Now if I go down there, right, so it's going to be negative. So what we need to do is we need to return max 0 or that. So that way if it does go negative, it's going to stay 0. There we go. All right, now let's go ahead and put this in for all of the other employees. Excellent. So now this employee has a 0 because they were terminated before that date. Same here. And same here. So the question was how many employees worked during December 2025. So we're going to count how many of these are greater than 0. I get an answer of 40, and that seems to match. So I'm going to go with that. All right. Question 2. What did EE2 earn in January 2025? All right. So that's the number of days in the month. We need to turn that into a percentage of that month. So let's do EOM in this row, and let's do EO month starting with 2025, this date and 1, and going into 0 months. So that's going to say that's the end of the day for each month. I probably could have done that earlier, and that would have made this part easier, but oh well. Now I need to turn this into a percent. So this is the number of days that they worked in that month. I'm going to take that and divide it by the number of days in the month. So I should be able to just take the day value in that row there, and that should get me a percent. Does it work for everybody? I believe that it does. So that's the percentage of days worked in the month. Now to turn that into a salary, let's go ahead and multiply this big number by, this is the annual salary, so I'm going to divide that by 12. Turn that back into dollars. Make it visible. There we go. So, okay, things seem to be lining up. Let's get rid of a few decimals so that they're easier to see. And the question was, what did EE2 earn in January 2025? EE2, January 2025, that's the amount that I get. And that does not line up with any of my numbers. Oh dear. It's because that's not EE2, that was EE3. Way to go, Ben. Let's look at the right employee, why not? 4113, that does line up, so we're going to match that. All right, what salary did EE4 earn during the entire year of 2025? So we're going to go EE4, look at his entire year's salary. I get 74,812, which does line up there. Excellent. Question 4, what is the total salary paid to employees in 2025? Okay, so if I just highlight this entire thing, what do I get? 2.176 million, which is right there. Excellent. And now question 5, how many options are vested for active employees on 12/31/25? Okay, so this one, I'm going to go back to my information sheet and just take a quick look here. Stock options are issued for employees, and these vest over 36 months. The employee's options vest as long as they worked at least one day in the month. If the employee starts on January 31st, 2025, they'll still receive one of their 36 of their options in January. Okay, so that's the salary. Let's get into options now. Options, and I'm just going to copy this same information over. I think that'll still work. All right, that's going to be there. So options is going to be, so this is their annual options, I believe. How does that work again? Let me read the instructions. Oh, that's how many options they vest over 36 months. They receive 1/36 of their options every month. So it's going to be that number. Let's lock in the C column. Divided by 36. This one's going to get locked all the way because that's obviously not going to change. But they only get that if they worked in that month. So we're going to multiply this by if this number is greater than 0. Right? So that will get us a number if they did work. And if they didn't work, you see we're going to get, oh, we got a lot of zeros. But this one should not be a 0. Let me take another look here. Oh, they have 0 options. Okay, that one should be a 0 then. Let's fill this all the way down and see how it looks for the other employees. All right, so you see here some of these employees are leaving, so they're not getting options for the months they don't work. That's good. The question was, how many options are vested for active employees on that date? I'm going to guess that includes all of these. We're also going to see active, and if they are active, then that means there's no termination date. Because if there's a termination date, that means they're no longer active. All right, so let's figure out total here by row sum. Not sum 0, just sum. There we go. And then we're going to do sum of these numbers times whether they're still active. I get 327,222. And there we have it. All right. So that's how you solve the case. A really fun case. Also, the answers make an arrow shape. It's always funny when they do that. Yeah, so there you go. A pretty straightforward case there. We got to calculate salaries. We did that based on the number of days per month. I feel that I probably made this formula harder than it should have been. I mean, granted, okay, the formula that you're seeing now had a lot of steps added to it throughout. But there's probably an easier way to calculate how many days that they've worked per month. There's probably some min-max although I did do a min-max combination, didn't I? But yeah, we got the answer in the end. That's what was key. So there you go. That is how you solve Start Me Up. Thank you so much. I believe this was Jason Sindler that wrote this case. Thank you so much, Jason, for this case. Thank you guys for watching this video. I don't normally post this kind of financial content, but I am trying to work on this more because I want to do better in the competition. So stay tuned. You might see some more videos, and I'll see you for the next one.
It's the Excel world.